Hello everyone. Today I'm going to do a video on that one word that you could pick for 2019 that sort of defines you and steers you in the direction that you want to go. Let me introduce myself. My name is Lynnschroedercom and I empower men and women to step outside of their comfort zone and begin living a life that they could have never imagined. I love to ignite a fire and a passion in people who are wanting a change and are willing and ready for a change. So that one word, listen, now is the time of the year that we've already heard comments such as New Year's resolutions, goal setting, reinventing yourself, and new year, new you. I have just adopted with open arms this concept of a one word for your 365 days of the new year. How can one word make a difference? Well, it can. It's amazing that there are over 190,000 English words out there, and to find one word that can really make a difference in your year. How amazing is that? But it's true. A one word keeps our focus. A while back I did a video. If you haven't read the blog or seen the YouTube video, it was about my red fingernails. I don't have them painted today, but typically I have red fingernails or a bright colored fingernail polish on. And that fingernail polish reminds me, it focuses me on what I want to pay attention to. Well, a one word for the year is very similar. It focuses you and it can transform you to keep your head down and keep your eyes on the prize. It's a reminder of what you want your life to look like for the next 365 days. We're always evolving, so next year your word is going to look different. What happens when we take one word and we focus on it each day? Each day we become more like that word. So it really, really works when you take one word for your year. So the questions that people will ask me that I coach are, should it be home or should it be work related? Should it be an all-encompassing word like happy, or should it be a dialed in and focused word like healthy or bold? You get to decide. You get to decide what that one word is. Now, let me give you some key things to think about though when you're picking your one word. The first one is to be very, very mindful. The big words out there are to be self-aware. You hear that a lot. I use the word introspective a lot in the videos and blogs that I do, but to be mindful, to be attentive. So sit quietly and don't just pick a word right off the top of your head. And I'm going to explain how I did it here in a little bit, but be mindful, be very self-aware and do some introspection and be attentive and understanding yourself. What makes you tick? What gets you excited? What are your fears? What is easy for you? What isn't easy? Now, this exercise, this being mindful, this introspection exercise, is not always fun, because as you're quiet and you're digging into and asking yourself some questions, some of the questions can be painful and they could produce some not so pleasant things. As you get quiet and ask yourself, what do I want this year to look like? What is going on with me? Things are going to be exposed that are good, not so good, and downright ugly. So you have to be ready to receive all of those. So be mindful and be open. Number two is one of my favorite things, and that is to talk about it with people who are safe in your world. People who aren't going to tell you exactly what you want to hear, but they're going to be really, really truthful in what they say. So find someone that you trust that is going to tell you things about yourself that will help you become better by next year. So you can ask this person or people, what is it about me that I'm not seeing, but you are, that will help me grow? What blind spots do I have that I'm not aware of that you can tell me about that will help me be a better person in 2019? What do you see in me that needs to change? So that's the second thing. Number 3 is to be kind to yourself as you're finding out what your word is. Cut yourself some slack. Don't overthink it. And your word does not have to be performance-based at all. It can just be joy. Your word, cut yourself some slack though. If on January 1st you haven't come up with a word, it's okay. Don't just pick a word. Give your heart and your head some space to identify that word. The next thing that's important, I think it's number 4. Number 4 is to consider making a vision board or a dream board. In my business, we do this a lot, where you actually cut out pictures or you actually write out things on a board, things that pop out in your mind that you really have a vision for, that you want your life, your 2019 to look like. What does it look like? Put it on a board and then look for commonalities. And that will help you hone in to your one word. Perhaps your vision board has lots of destinations. So maybe your word is destination or travel. Maybe your vision board has a lot of compassionate things on it, like giving to the needy, or taking a missions trip, or becoming a big brother, big sister. So maybe your word is compassion, or giving, or hope. But consider making a vision board and listen, cut yourself some slack and have fun with it. The next one is to very simply write down your goals. What are your goals for 2019? Now listen, if you have not read my blog or watched my YouTube video that I just did maybe a week ago, it's picking out 4 very intentional goals for 2019, or asking yourself some intentional questions before you go into 2019 and you start picking out your goals. So if you haven't watched that or read it, I suggest that you hop on over to my website or my YouTube page and watch it. They're intentional questions to ask yourself. But what you can do to get ready for your one word is to start writing your goals. And as you're writing your goals, what pops out? What common denominator is interspersed within those goals? Perhaps within those goals, you see that your word needs to be motivation. Or maybe your word needs to be courage. Within those things that you've written, are there some scary things in there that you've discovered that, whoa, this year I need to be very courageous? So make your list. Look at what behavior has to come from that goal, and that can be your word of the year. Another thing that you can do is ask yourself, who do I want to become by 2020? Throughout 2019, who do I want to become? Do I need to turn over a new leaf? Do I need to let things go? Do I need to forgive more? Within those answers to that question will be a behavior that you can pick for your word. Make a list and let it flow. Again, do not overthink it. Just let it flow. Now, here are some suggestions for words on your list. Now, they don't have to be your words, but here are some suggestions. A for adapt or accomplish. B for belief and bold. C for courage and capability. D for dependability or to become daring. E for enlightened. F for faith and family. Maybe faith is important to you, or maybe your family has to take the #1 spot this year. Or G for gratitude. You need to always be grateful for what you've had instead of being numb to it. Maybe that's been on your heart. Honesty or being healthy. Maybe this is your year to turn over that leaf and stop with the medicines you've been taking and to get healthy. Intentional, independent. Maybe this is the year that you cut the strings to somebody that you've been so dependent on. Joy, or K is to keep. Maybe keep those people that are near and dear to you in your heart. Love, light. O for open. P for prayer. Maybe you need to become more of a praying person and letting things go instead of holding on to them with control. Reset, rebuild. Service. Maybe you need to be more in service to people. Maybe it's sparkle. Maybe it's time to let other people see your sparkle. Service, trust, uplift. Maybe it's vision. You need to keep your vision, and maybe it's just that word that we see thrown around a lot, and it's Zen. What is your word? Now, I want to tell you what my word is this year. In the past, my word has been belief. My word has been courage. My word has been focus. And this year, after doing the exercise that I just did with you, being mindful, talking it over with somebody, being kind to yourself as you're making your list, creating that dream board, writing out my goals. After doing those exercises, I came up with a word that just sits in my heart like it belongs there. Like I shouldn't have even been doing all of that because it's been there for the whole time. And that word is listen. It's listen. It's listen to what other people are saying and being a compassionate listener, listening with my full face. And also, this is the type of listening that I have been really wanting to adopt, and it's the listen to my heart. I did a blog recently, not recently, maybe a couple months ago, about that inner pilot light, that director inside of you that tells you which way to go. Sometimes we call it a gut feeling, sometimes we call it the Holy Spirit, whatever. I have a guide inside of me, and I just need to listen. And for me, sometimes that's quieting myself and listening. And then, as I'm listening, just believe it and go with it. So that's my word for the year, is listen. Now, as I actually have copied it down, and I'm going to keep it on my computer, and as I focus on it every day, by the end of 2019, I expect that I'm going to be a good listener to that inner pilot light, that gut feeling, and to people around me. Now, to sum this all up, finding your word, it's not about creating another to-do list. Just know that right off the bat. It's about chasing a life and living with intentionality and purpose over this coming year. Intentionality, not waking up, doing the same thing over and over and going to bed, not getting on that hamster wheel, not numbing out. It's chasing intentionality and living a life with purpose. So remember, don't deny the world the chance to bask in your brilliance. You are a brilliant person. Don't deny the world a chance to bask in that. So pick a word, focus on it, be intentional, and watch what happens throughout 2019, and you are going to shine with brilliance. I'm positive about that. So thank you so much for watching. Pick a word, and I'd love for you to leave a comment in the comments below. What is your one word for this year? I'd love to see what it is. I'd love to comment on it and have a conversation with you about that. Thank you so much for watching.